Good morning, children. How are you all today? Let us begin with our next chapter of English grammar, which is prepositions. Prepositions is also a part of speech. Till now, we have discussed nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. And now, today, we will continue with the next part of speech, which is prepositions. Let us see what the contents are. First of all, we will discuss what are prepositions, then the definition of prepositions and the important prepositions that are used in English language. We will also read out some example sentences to show how prepositions are used. Prepositions showing position, time, and movement will also be discussed. Certain home assignments are to be given. Please make sure, children, that you complete your home assignments so as to be ready for your grammar lesson. Okay, so let us begin with the first topic. What are prepositions? A preposition is a word and is almost always a very small and a very common word. It shows direction, location, time, or it may even introduce an object. Prepositions are typically followed by an object. We can say prepositions are some of the smallest words of English language. They connect people, objects, times, and locations in a sentence. Let us see the formal definition of prepositions. A preposition is a word that comes before a noun or a pronoun and shows a relationship of the noun or pronoun with the other words in a sentence. Doesn't it look very typical and complicated? Yes, it does. But once you try to understand it by means of the examples given here, you will not have any problem. He sat on the chair. On is the preposition which is telling you that he sat on the chair. Not under it, not behind it, but on it. There is some milk in the fridge. The preposition here is in. It is telling us that milk is inside the fridge. She was hiding under the table. What is the preposition here, children? Yes, it is under. The cat jumped off the counter. Off is the preposition. They were sitting by the tree. Here again, by is the preposition. You can observe all these words are very important, as in they are telling you about the noun and the object which is mentioned in the sentence. If we change even one of them, the whole sentence and the meaning will change. For example, we come back to this sentence, he sat on the chair. If I change the word on to under, he sat under the chair, the meaning of the whole sentence changes. I hope you are able to understand. Next, we discuss the important prepositions that are generally used in English language. About, above, according to, across, after, against, ahead of, along, amidst, among, amongst, because of, before, behind, below, beneath, beside, besides. Now, children, these two words, there is only the difference of an S, but the meaning of both of these is totally different. Between, beyond, by means of. In addition to, in case of, in front of, in place of, in spite of, into, inside, instead of, into, except for, next to, past, per, prior to, round, since, of, on account of, on behalf of, onto, throughout, till, times, to, toward, towards. Again, the difference in both the words is just an S, but the meaning is totally different. Under, underneath, unlike, until, up to. These are generally the prepositions which we use in our day to day English language. As I was telling you, I would like to elaborate on these two words, beside and besides. Beside we can use in the example here, she sat beside me in the classroom. So here you may be referring to your partner who always sat beside you, that is next to you. Besides, however, is used differently. For example, I ate an ice cream besides kulfi. So that means you had already eaten kulfi and again you ate an ice cream. So these are how these two words are used differently. Next, we discuss some of the example sentences wherein we are using prepositions. All the words that you see in yellow here are different prepositions. Are you acquainted with your classmate? Is she serious about wanting to sell the house? Are you afraid of the dark? It is difficult for me to hear you. Are you happy with that arrangement? It was unkind of you to take his toy away. Are you sure about that? It's good to see you again. Be careful with the glasses. It's nice to know you. Dustin is terrible at texting. John is really bad at keeping his promises. He could be very careless about his future. John was very keen to help. He is interested in molecular biology. She felt very depressed about the future. Now, children, please carefully read these sentences at least twice so as to know the use of these prepositions in different sentences. Next, we discuss the prepositions showing position. You can see here the apple between the two columns. Between is used only when we are referring to two people or two things. When there are more than two people, we do not use between, we use among. For example, divide the chocolate between your sister and you. So here, your sister and you will divide the chocolate between two of you. However, if there are more than two people, we will use among in the same sentence. In front of, the apple is in front of the green block. Behind, it is behind the block. To the left of, under or below, on, next to the right of. So with the help of these pictures, I think you are clear about the position, prepositions and how they are used. Next is prepositions of time. During. We use it when something is happening along with something else. Example, we stayed at a student hostel during the conference. For, used with a period of time. I am just going to bed for 2 hours or so. Until, till, up to a certain time. We'll wait till, until 6:30 for you. Since refers back to a point in time when something began. 40 years have passed since they met. From, to show when something begins and ends. Her visit will extend from Monday to Thursday. Ago refers to how far back in time something happened. He left the house over an hour ago. Before refers to any time previous to a specific point in time. She is always up before dawn. By, not later than. He had promised to be back by 5 o'clock. So these prepositions of time have to be used very, very carefully so as to give the correct time to the person to whom you are talking. Next comes preposition of movement. To, used to indicate a destination or direction. The boys go to school in groups. Towards, in the direction of someone or something. She pushed her face towards him. Through, from one side to another. David walked slowly through the woods. Into, movement that enters a space. Don't put new wine into old bottles. Into, children, is always used when something goes deep inside the other, like he dived into the swimming pool. Over, movement at a higher level than something else. He jumped over the wall. Across, movement from one side of something to the other side. The truck skidded sideways across the road. So these are the prepositions of movement, which show the different types of movement of the noun and also the object in the sentence. Now for today's home assignments, read the PowerPoint presentation carefully, especially the sentences, at least twice. Read the text from your book. Try to solve exercises on prepositions in your textbook. However, we will discuss the answers of these exercises on the next term. Check your answers with the PDF sent. Whenever I send the PDF, you can check your answers with the PDF. Learn and revise previous lessons, and you can also try to practice prepositions a little more. Bye for now, children. Happy learning. Take care.